Welcome back, folks. With me, Phil Tyrrell. You're watching part 3 of the Megaman X playthrough. So, next Maverick on the list is going to be Boomer Kuwanger, which he has. I've been debating with this over myself over the parts, but Boomer Kuwanger is probably my second favorite of the 8 Maverick tracks. Storm Eagle being number 1, of course. But Boomer Kuwanger level, I feel like it's a very like almost like a rehash of sorts, like a refresh of sorts of Electroman's level from Mega Man 1. Just because you're climbing the entire time, and it's a tower of all things. But yeah, the best thing you can do here is to use Storm Tornado. You can knock out those bots and all that good stuff. And one thing that I may not have mentioned in the previous part about the new X Buster, when you get the part from Dr. Light, you can charge each of the new weapons, the weapons you get from the Mavericks. But right here, you want to watch out for the laser traps. If you trip the laser trap, the things on top are only going to shoot you once. They don't do a ton of damage, and you can't destroy them. But anyways, you're gonna climb up this tower. But going back to the weapons that you can charge, each of the weapons have an alternate attack or feature if you charge them up with the X Buster, and then you just let it go. Some of them are protective, others are like augment the attacking capabilities of all the weapons. But each one has its own different unique feature when it's fully charged. And this carries on into like all the other Mega Man X games afterwards. But you want to avoid all the spikes here because spikes equal instant death. That doesn't change. So I'd much rather get hit by those enemies than get hit by the spiky instant death things. So yeah. Go out here, and then you're going to climb up the outside of the tower here. And then this will lead us to our next heart tank once you get to the top of this. And then we're almost to the end of the level, actually. So Boomer Kuwanger's level can be a little bit short if you're very speedy with it. The homing torpedo is his weakness. And the homing torpedo is good for taking out those, not the turrets, but the little lizards that are hanging off the ladders. So that's pretty nice to use that here. And also, I'm trying to think of another weapon. Maybe, well, the flame wave, the fire wave is also very good for taking out turrets. But X Buster is good enough to get anything done. When you want to get the heart tank here, you have to have the arm part, and you have to have Chill Penguin's attack to do this before you get Boomer Kuwanger's weapon. Otherwise, you got to come back here with Boomer Kuwanger's weapon, shoot the boomerang cutter. It'll latch itself to the heart tank, and then it'll bring it back to you. Otherwise, you got to do a little bit of tricky platforming with the little surfboard from Chill Penguin's weapon. So really, it's Chill Penguin's weapon is just useful for just getting this heart tank, I find. And that's it. I mean, I'm sure there's some things to do, little gimmicks here and there, but that's the only use that I find that it's really good for, to get that heart tank like in the same attempt that you're beating Boomer Kuwanger with. So otherwise, if you don't mind backtracking, you can certainly come back here if you can't do that tricky jump with the shotgun ice charge effect. So, but we're already at the end here. Boomer Kuwanger's right here, and Boomer Kuwanger's weapon is the homing torpedo. So if you can equip that homing torpedo, it will make this boss fight a ton easier. And Boomer Kuwanger is very much like an insect version of Cutman, I find, because he throws his boomerang cutter, which is on top of his head. So very much an insect Maverick version of Cutman. And it's also, I find boomerang cutter is also one of those weapons that I feel are underutilized. Even I kind of don't use boomerang cutter as much as I should outside of its utility of getting items and all that stuff. But I kind of feel boomerang cutter is really underrated in my opinion. But it's most definitely not better than Storm Tornado, most definitely, or Fire Wave for that matter. But that's it, and we're gonna go ahead and get our next weapon, the boomerang cutter. And then one thing about the boomerang cutter is, if it doesn't hit an enemy and it comes right back to you, you regain the energy used to get the use the boomerang cutter. So that's a thing too. Oh, and I guess I forgot to talk about Boomer Kuwanger's little biography. But the next one we're going to go after is Cammeleon. But Boomer Kuwanger was a Maverick hunter who worked in the 17th Elite unit under Sigma in the same unit as his older brother Gravity Beetle. After agreeing to follow Sigma's rebellion, Kuwanger takes control of a tower that was supposed to be the symbol of a city's progress and turns into an oppressive fortress. And then Sting Cammeleon, he was a skilled Maverick hunter from the 9th unit, the Rangers division, but he was never chosen for promotion due to unit leader due to his unpopularity with his comrades. Never won a passive opportunity, Cammeleon used Sigma's Maverick Rebellion as a means to rise through the ranks and gain more power and recognition in Sigma's Reploid Nation. So, that's all done. Those are all the Maverick Hunters' little quick biographies that are on the Megaman Wikia. But if you come in this level after you beat Launch Octopus, I'm trying to remember his name, go down this hole, slide down, and then you can knock these blocks off provided you have the helmet. Which, again, you're kind of like hitting it with your feet to get started. But dash jump here and get the heart tank. And then we're going to go and get the next part of our armor. The next and last part of our armor. Which is... oh, I don't remember his name. But it's this giant bot here. Future Frail can put the name up there at the top. But it's a pretty easy boss fight. If I remember right, this is supposed to be some kind of sumo mechanoid that went, you know, Maverick. So it kind of looks like a sumo wrestler, if I remember the Wikia article right. And then it has attacks that will, it'll grab you with the claw and then it'll try to smack you into the wall. So don't get hit by the claw. I'm going to get hit by the claw. But the best way to take this thing out is not with the Storm Tornado, which I'm going to get tired of using the Storm Tornado. And I'm going to go back to the plain good old X-Buster. So... use the X-Buster here, and as you do damage to it, you'll know you're doing a lot more damage because as you do damage, it'll start to smoke up top, and the more smoke it emits, the more damage you've done to it. And you can hit it in the head, or you can hit it in the arm. This is going to sound weird, the armhole where the arm launches out of. So that's also a avenue of attack. And maybe hitting it in the armhole might be a little bit more easier, but... or not a little bit easier, but you rack up more hits. So just keep smacking him, and then we will be done with this annoying sub-boss, mini-boss of sorts. And then once you beat this boss, which is entirely optional by the way, you'll be gifted with a Dr. Light capsule, which is the body armor part of it. This capsule contains a new type of body armor. Hurry up. It will reduce the damage to your systems by 50%. Buy X. But, so you get this armor, and then basically your health bar is essentially a little bit longer because, well, a little bit longer. It's 1.5 times longer because you take 50% less damage. So in a way, your health bar gets longer, but you take less damage. Anyways. Basically, you take less damage. Long story short, I'm over here trying to sound all fancy and everything. But anyways, disregard that if it made no sense. But you just take more damage. These rock enemies that drop from the ceiling, they will kind of telegraph where they're going to fall. If you pay attention to the ceiling, just stop right where there's a little bit of rock sticking out. And then that's a rock Maverick that's about to drop down. Kind of reminds me of, I think it's Stone Man from Megaman 5, I believe. Is it Stone Man? Yeah, it's Stone Man, I believe. But just the way they look. But continue on here, we're almost done. This will be the ride armor section, which is very nice because ride armors are very, very useful because you'll take no damage. And if you really want to, you can farm out health here with the enemies, you know, with the ride armor, because you can just go back and smack them with the ride armor. And well, we're getting to the ride armor. I guess we still got a few more sections. And there's an extra life above here where this Maverick is. Collect that, go up here. And then we're going to get our ride armor, and then at the end of this we'll fight Sting Cammeleon. But something I just realized, I'm thinking back to my first time playing Megaman X4 and also Megaman X. I actually went over Web Spider and Megaman X4 first, which, you know, Web Spider's not a difficult Maverick. But Sting Cammeleon is a bit harder, in my opinion. Actually, it might be a lot harder. I'm not a big fan of Mega Man X bosses without going their weakness. Some of them are brutal. But we're at the end of Sting Cammeleon's level, and we're going to fight the big bad Sting Cammeleon. Do not use the Homing Torpedo, use Boomer Kuwanger's weapon. And one thing about Boomer Kuwanger's weapon is when you're on the ground and you shoot, the boomerang will curve upward. If you jump and you're not at the height of your jump, no. If you jump and you shoot the boomerang cutter right before you reach the peak of your jump, I think the boomerang cutter will go up, not down. But once you hit the height of your jump and you go down, the boomerang cutter will go down, not up. And that's something to consider. The best way to avoid that is just use the boomerang cutter while you're on the ground. And if you're very careful, you can get him in a pseudo lock to where he'll drop down, he'll go to the other side, and then you can boomerang cutter and then just, you know, keep doing that, and then you can lock him in this like stun lock that I'm trying to get him in. Another thing here, the ceiling does have spikes. They are not instant death, which I did jump into the spikes, but they do hurt quite a bit. But with that, Sting Cammeleon's done, and we are done with all 8 Mavericks, which means we're going to go fight the evil bad Sigma. So, that actually was not ad-libbed at all. I'm still thinking about my older Megaman 1 and 2 playthroughs, but anyways, I digress. So, we get Cammeleon Sting, which is a tri-shot. I know I kind of skipped it, but Zero Megaman are going to have a little bit of a dialogue here where they're going to be like, we found Sigma's fortress, let's go and put an end to this war, stop the war against the humans. But anyways, and we're introduced to this boss level select music, so really awesome. I like the theme for Sigma's boss select music. But we're gonna do a little bit of backtracking. We're gonna get all the heart tanks that we missed, which I think is just Chill Penguin, I think, off the top of my head. And then we're gonna get one sub tank from Spark Mandrill's level, and then we'll have all the collectibles so we can get our extra super overpowered ability that we can only access when we have full health. So that was the end of Chill Penguin. I went in and just jump cutted to where the right armor is, and then just showed you where to get the heart tank. There's no need to show the whole level. Spark Mandrill, on the other hand, I'm going to go ahead and show exactly where it's at, because where it's at, I didn't exactly go that way, but luckily it's at the very beginning of the level. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to say about Spark Mandrill's level when you beat Storm Eagle's level, so I'm kind of glad we're going back here. It does turn off the lights in the level. It does weaken the mini boss, and I want to say there's one more thing, but I think that's it. So you kind of like make the level a little bit harder on yourself because you do have no lights, but you do make yourself a little bit easier with the mid boss where it loses the electricity attack. And I'm over here trying to think, I don't want to use Sting Cammeleon's weapon, but let me just go ahead and switch to Boomer Kuwanger. I'm thinking if I use the charge version, it'll attach itself to the E-Tank, but it didn't. But that's it. We have all the collectibles, we have all the heart tanks, we have all the energy tanks, so we are good to go. And we're going to go to Armored Armadillo's level. And Armored Armadillo's level is where I go to refill my energy tanks to go grind, farm, extra lives. If you attack the little fleshy animal looking bat, not the mechanical ones like these, it does have a higher chance of dropping an extra life. And to get this extra super hidden ability, technically they expect you to beat this level 4 times, I believe. So you got to get to the end of the level, and then at the end of the level where you saw that little health pellet above the exit, you need to get the health pellet 4 times, and then on the 5th time, I believe, there'll be an extra super special surprise there that isn't, if you don't know how to use the command to use that ability, it's kind of useless, but it is a super special powerful ability. So I'm going to go through the level and get to that part just to show you exactly where it's at. I probably could have just cut this all out, but I'm just going to show it. It shouldn't take us very long. I think we'll get there like in another 30 seconds or so, maybe 40 seconds. But yeah. Ooh, what was I going to say? I was going to say something that had to do with the last part, but oh man, I think I'm just going to cut this part out. Nah, I'm going to leave it in. I was actually seriously thinking about it there, but get to the end here, and that's where the checkpoint is for when we're going to shortcut this extra super special weapon. But you want to get to in here. And then get to this part right here. And take out as many of these flying bots as you can. Use the actual X-Buster. Just shoot a few pellets. So shoot all 3. Because you won't be able to shoot more pellets than 3 that are on the screen. Get the health item and just jump off and die. So make sure you have enough lives to do this. I'm going to jump cut to the checkpoint. And I'm going to jump cut to where I make that jump for the pellet. Grab it. That's number 2. I'm going to die. I'm going to screw up right there. And just to show that, you know, you can do this if you mess up, go back through, finish the level properly, go through the end level, teleport out, and then you can rinse and repeat if you want. So that's number 3. I'm going to die. This will be number 4. Die. And make sure I have enough lives. And then on the 5th one, you'll get a Dr. Light capsule who's dressed like Ryu from Street Fighter.
I give you a special present. Now enter the capsule, please. Bye, X. See you next game.
But you jump in this capsule, and then Megaman X will get the super special ability from Street Fighter. Hey, I got a trophy. The Hadouken. And the Hadouken is a one-hit kill attack if you hit an enemy with it. It starts off by pressing down and going a quarter circle rotation on the D-pad in the direction of X is facing, and you press the shoot button, and then X will shoot a Hadouken, and if it does hit an enemy, even a boss, it will kill them in one hit. And so that's the end of our cleanup, and on the next part we're going to tackle the evil big bad Sigma's fortress and finish the fight there. Surely we won't have more games after this, but yeah.